And so the number 2 guy was number 3 last year. We have a flip.
In
your unicorn tier. Your number 2 quarterback is
Josh Allen, my boy Blue. That's right. Josh Allen, I mean, he is the Buffalo Bills. We know that. He is, right? I think the first thing, and I said this to you before we started the show today, right? It's the most physically gifted quarterback in the NFL. Right, and I don't say that lightly because, I mean, we know there's some ones that are really gifted right now. It's the strongest arm in the NFL. It's one of the best runners in the NFL. And, oh, yeah, he can play QB, too, and he never gets hurt. I mean, that's another thing you got to take. When you go back and watch him and you watch this style of football and how Josh Allen plays, and if you watch it like 6-7 games in a row, passes only, right? Like, it's kind of what I do here. You really can go away after 3 games going, it's unbelievable. The guy's healthy his whole career and just plays every week. I mean, he's getting spun around. He's lowering his shoulder against middle linebackers. He's got defensive ends holding onto his leg, and he's stiff-arming a guy and still trying. It's incredible, right? It's one of his best abilities is that he is always available. He really is, right? Not sure any one team is more dependent on their quarterback than the Buffalo Bills. And I mean that throughout. He literally helps their defense out, right? You know me, I don't think their defense is super talented, but they try to play it into like, we're going to put pressure on you with Josh Allen, get a lead, and then we kind of take away the run game, and McDermott and our defense is pretty good. It's not great, but now we kind of got you pigeonholed into, wait, they have to do this like 90% of the time, and we have the advantage, right? So he not only helps their defense, but of course he – until this year, finally, it was not their running game, but he's still a big part of their running game. We know that. And then, you know, as I've discussed and said before too, there's no number 1 receiver, or no superstar take over the game receiver, I should say there, to where, yeah, he takes over the game. They wait on him to take it over. And as I've told you 2 years ago, talking to guys there last offseason, right? I mean, they have a belief a little bit up there. McCourty would second this for me, that if he doesn't take over games and do amazing stuff, that they're not going to be able to win the game, right? So they know how special he is, and that's what I mean by no one sets the tone for the whole team more than he does. I mean, that's where, you know, he is like really, really special that way because he puts total pressure on the other team because of his skill set and the way he plays the game. Nobody makes more eye-popping power throws than Josh Allen. I mean, every game, there's 4 or 5 throws where you just go, holy crap. Like, holy crap. That is incredible. That should not be done. That's insane, right? And I just mean it on the power throw standpoint, right? I mean, Mahomes and Burrow and all of them make me say holy crap. But the power throw standpoint of like, wait, he's standing in a split and he threw it 48 yards between Jalen Ramsey and Javon Holland, who are like all pro corners, huh? Like that, he does stuff like that where you're just like, no way, no way. So the power throws, they don't even make sense at times, right? The arm angles, right? They're, as we talked about earlier, it's up there with anybody in football, right up there with Mahomes, and he's got an incredibly fast release too. When he needs to like, oh gosh, I'm about to get pressure or someone's there and I got to get it out really quick, I mean, he can really get it out quick. Yeah. Those are definitely some of his strengths. Anything you want to interject with here?
Well, yeah, I'll give you a break.
Yeah.
So it's like you compared Matthew Stafford to Phil Mickelson, right, the golfer. I almost feel like Josh Allen is the golfer that just has more clubs in his bag. It's just like he is the guy that's like, oh, I didn't even know he had that. I didn't even know he made that club. It's just like he can do anything in any situation. If he needs to be the power guy, if he needs to be the finesse guy, if he needs to be the running guy.
Yes, sir. He can do all of that.
Lower my head and get 1 yard guy.
There's no doubt.
There's no part of the game where Josh Allen cannot excel.
No, exactly right. I mean, could he maybe be a hair better of a touch thrower? Yeah. Does Stafford have that over him a little bit? Yeah, sure. He could be better at it, but it's not like you're like, oh my gosh, he's leaving throws and plays on the field all the time, right? Without doing that. No, he really that and then some. Like you said, he's got a driver in the bag where it's like, wait, that's not a driver, that's a double driver. I don't know what that is. I mean, that shouldn't be allowed.
You have too many clubs, sir.
Right.
We're eliminating you. So Stephon Diggs said this about Josh Allen here recently. I think a lot of people were curious what he was going to say because it seemed like that relationship was sometimes rocky, not good. Josh, was and still is my guy. This is Stephon Diggs now talking. He really embraced me. We spent a lot of time together. I probably wouldn't be right here if it wasn't for him. And so he realizes it, and even in going out the door there, what he meant to his career, even if they weren't even Stephon Diggs' best years of his career. I mean, there are some pretty good years there, but he didn't look like the same dynamic guy at times, but he still feels like Josh Allen was his guy and took him to new levels that he would not have been at without him.
Definitely. I mean, they were one of the special combinations in all of football, right, for a few years. I mean, we were talking Bills Super Bowl window, Allen, Diggs. I mean, that was the conversation. So, of course, he did a lot for Stephon Diggs, and it's cool for Stephon Diggs to give Josh Allen that credit. I don't know how things ended. Obviously, if Stephon Diggs got to be a little bitter about Buffalo, and they obviously wanted rid of him too, but I don't think there's any denying that was one of the more special combinations in all of football the last few years.
Can we get into the interceptions?
Yeah.
Okay, you ready for that?
Yeah.
So the interceptions are going to be something that everyone brings up on him, and you've talked about interceptions before with a quarterback like Jimmy Garoppolo as like full Tropic Thunder in some games. Do you see Josh Allen as having that about him at times? Because he had 18 interceptions last year. Quarterbacks with the most interceptions last 3 seasons. Josh Allen is number 1 with 47, although does have 100 touchdown passes, so you got to factor that in as well. Started all 19 games last year, 18 interceptions. He had 5 games only without an interception. Now, 2 of those games were his 2 playoff games, too. But how do you see the interceptions in Josh Allen?
Well, like I said, and leave this up there, that little graphic there. One, like I started off, nobody depends on their guy more than him. I mean, I could show you drives during the year and go, like, literally the offense and the system did nothing for them this whole drive, and they went down and scored a touchdown. And there was nothing open, and it wasn't like he is doing anything like, oh, my gosh, this is stupid. Why is he doing this, right? So, there is a little too much of a burden on him, right? Now, can he lose his way with looking for the big play and being too aggressive? Yes. There's no doubt about it. Like, there's some times in games where I think he gets impatient. They're stalling a little, and you're like, no. The underneath guy's open here for first down. Don't be impatient just because you guys didn't score the last 2 drives, and now you're going to look for 50-yard throws every throw, right? Or the power throw, right? So there is a little of that, let alone, as we know with a lot of great throwers, they just think they can fit the ball into every situation, everything. But there's something to take here. I mean, again, Stafford turnovers. Oh, that's right. He won the Super Bowl 3 years ago. Oh, Mahomes second on the list with turnovers. Oh, that's right. He won the last 3 out of the last 4 Super Bowls. Oh, that's right. Okay. Oh, right. I mean,
how do you explain Mac Jones?
Burrow's on there. I mean, again, the great quarterbacks, and what you've heard me say, and this is one of our themes of our podcast, they play to win the game. They don't play not to lose. They're going to go for it. It's my problem with Aaron Rodgers and some of the quarterbacks we've talked about, right? It's all about, that's risky. I might get blamed. Right? Josh Allen's going to go down fighting. Now, he needs to figure that fine line out a little bit, and that's where I think the offense and running the ball for him a little bit and helping him will take the burden away from him.
I think that's the hard part.
We saw Dayball reel it in. It wasn't an issue with Dayball. Let alone, here's another fact I want to just throw out there.
Yep.
Nobody scored more touchdowns in football since he took over at starting quarterback than Josh Allen. He's got more than Mahomes, like by a significant amount. Right, I think it's 2019 and on, or something like that. Right, I mean, it's from that point on, or when Mahomes started, or they both started. He's got more touchdowns in football from 2019 on than anybody, or maybe 18 on. I'm somewhere in there, but I know I'm right about that. Generally,
depending on what, we'll figure out where you are right, and then we'll start the counter there.
It's. I'm pretty sure with him and Mahomes, and when they both started together, he's got more touchdowns total. Now, of course, some of that's rushing and all that, right?
Sure.
But you're going to deal with that a little bit. Okay.
Well, and I think that's the thing too. It's like you always talk about eliminating the bad, right? Eliminate the bad, but okay, in doing that, how much of the good will you take away?
Yeah, right. You don't want to take too much. You don't. And they are who they are because of him and the aggression and all of that. But there's a few that certainly every year, right? I mean, that I can look at and go, like, come on, man, you're too good to do that. Why would you throw that? All right. Some normal interceptions that are going to happen. Sure. We got that. But there's a few boneheaded ones, right? I think that's the thing that you say. Let me just see if there's anything else I want to can be a little bit, like I said, looking for the big play or take over a little too much, which I think can lead him into the mistakes. There's no doubt about that, right? But at the same time has the ability of when nothing is working, he can physically take over a game as good as anybody in the NFL, right? I mean, that's the big thing. That's where him and Mahomes shine. You can literally watch quarters and go, there's nothing open and there's nothing, and they're going down and scoring touchdowns. Like what? Right? Like nothing's working, but it's working, right? That's where they will blow your head off, where you're just like, right? So, and that's where you talk about that fine line of like, okay, and that's where they can help them make some of the craziest drives or plays you will ever see, right? And he has drives where I write it at the end here. You can say no one was open for the whole drive, and he went 6 or 7 for 65 yards and a great run, and they scored a touchdown, right? I mean, that's it. But yeah, he's got to look for the big play, turns down completions a little too much, and here's one last thing of negative: appropriate throws. I didn't say this. I should have said this about Herbert because I talked about Herbert with the no arm angles, but the appropriate throws, right? There's at times where you just go, it's too hard. This should not be this kind of velocity. You shouldn't throw this ball this way. This is not appropriate.
I mean, is that kind of like Shaq at the free throw line?
A little sometimes. Right. Well, you know how
hard.
Just think like, all right, mental picture this a little. Like Mahomes or Stafford, because Stafford's really good at this too. Like shallow cross guys running, they have this ability to kind of like just flick it and touch it, right? To where it's like the ball just lands in their hands like a hot potato.
To where if they did their full motion, it would be way too hard.
And that's where they go way too motion, and you're like, woo, no, he can't catch that. And God can't catch it either. He's 5 feet from you, and you threw it 145 miles per hour, right? And not to say they do that all the time, but that's where Stafford and Mahomes are just like incredible with that little flick touch of like, oh, wait, 1, 2, 3's not open. Oh, I'm getting a little pressure. I got a backpedal. Oh, there's the back coming out of the backfield. I know I can't throw the ball hard to the back, and he can't see me all the way. Let me just like almost lob it to the spot he's about to run to, and all of a sudden they just turn around and is there, and they run for yards, right? Those are things that like Allen could get better at, Herbert as well.
Has the team gotten better around him? That would be the question here. They lost Stephon Diggs, mentioned him over in Houston now. They got Keon Coleman, who, this was on a Yahoo Sports podcast. Josh Allen said this about Keon Coleman, quote, first impression, he's a big sucker, and now he's learning the playbook at a very accelerated rate. His football smarts and instincts are as high as a rookie as I've seen. So how about that?
That's high
Keon
praise.
Coleman out of Florida State, Michigan State before that. So you got him, you got Curtis Samuel, you got Mac Hollins, you got KJ Hamler, you got MVS there, you got Chase Claypool. So you got a lot of names, and some guys who we thought maybe had some talent, all hodgepodge together now on one team.
I think they have more of a chance of being scary, like explosive. That's where I kind of look at it. I'm hoping that overall with the run game and a few more guys that can make big plays and take the pressure off of Josh Allen, right? That's my thing too. Like Diggs is really good, that. But Diggs is not necessarily the guy that you go, oh, he's going to run by somebody for a 70-yard bomb, or we're going to throw a slant for him and he's going to run 80 yards for a touchdown, right? That's not who he is. Right. Diggs is just like, great route. Ooh, he caught the slant, he broke a tackle, he got 15 or 20, right? But it's not that. Some of these guys here, you go, no, this guy can run by you for a touchdown. Curtis Samuel can get a speed sweep and go around the edge and see you later, right? Valdez-Scantling, we saw him up in Buffalo, run by Buffalo, and Mahomes hit him deep down the field twice during the game. So that's where I'm hoping they can kind of help him out overall, and then do it a different way, and with the 2 tight ends they got and everything there and running the ball. All right, but that's my big thing with him overall in his career. Hey, the defense is allowed to show up in one of these games and make a play for him too, right? Somebody else is allowed to make a play on the offense other than him. You know, I see Travis Kelce make plays for Mahomes.
Yeah.
Who's the marquee guy that we've seen make a big play in a big moment that just pops to your head for Buffalo other than Josh Allen?
Yeah.
Nobody. Negative Ghost Rider.
Did you check the rule book for that, though?
I did check the
did
rule
check
book.
the
Oh,
rule
look
book.
at you.
Okay, there we go. You checked the rule book.
Check the rule book.
So we started this with the idea that Josh Allen is the most talented quarterback in the NFL. Let's end it that he might be the most talented slow pitch softball player that they have in the NFL right now, too, because I think this is recent footage of him at a charity softball game.
Good night.
Gone.
Good night. I will take him against anybody in the NFL right now in one of these home run derbies. Right? I mean, this is like his power, his ability to create opposites like we talk about, right? To kind of separate the upper half of his body from the lower half and get them to go in opposite directions to then uncork and throw a football or hit a baseball. I mean, they're insane. And yeah, I mean, again, guys like Allen and Mahomes, I think could probably be professional baseball players. Definitely.
And he's a rare one that wasn't. I don't think he was drafted by anyone. Was he a baseball?
No, he was. I don't know. He was kind of in the middle of nowhere, California. It seems like the planet didn't realize how good he was until he got to Wyoming.
They saw him there and they go, "Oh my God, we missed the boat."
Yeah.
He is the number 2 quarterback this year for you in the Unicorns tier, along with Joe Burrow.
Yo, what's up? Thanks for watching, homies. You know it's the off-season, but there's no off-season with Chris Simms Unbuttoned. It's the NFL. It goes all year around, all right? So hit subscribe, please, to hear my thoughts on your favorite team, your favorite quarterback, and, hey, how this season might unfold as we get ready for the 2024 season. We got a better picture, clearer look now that the draft is over, free agency. We know who's playing quarterback for certain teams. So, again, thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe. Peace out, homies. Check you out soon.